Okay, so we have Marcus, we have Brice. We will, once again, if you have a question, please give your name and your outlet before asking your question. We'll start here in front with Zach.
Zach DraftKingBabble.com. Marcus, how do you plan on facing Yogi Ferrell?
Well, that's not going to be my initial matchup. I think it'll be Joel Berry. But I'll spend some time on him throughout the game. Just try to keep him in front of me. You know, he's really explosive and quick, and he can also shoot a really nice pull-up jumper. So, you know, he's a guy that's talented enough to get his over the course of a game. You just got to contest everything and keep him out of the paint because he's so good at getting shots for other guys as well that once he gets in the paint, he causes a lot of problems.
Stay in the front row over here.
Carlos Colazo with the Daily Tar Heel. Marcus, I believe you said you've played against Yogi since 9th grade in high school. What have you seen from him as far as developing as a college player?
Well, he's always been a good point guard, good lead guard, great passer. But, you know, this year and last year to some extent, he's become a really, really good scorer. He's shooting the ball extremely well from deep. His pull-up jump shot's always been kind of his go-to thing. He's getting in the paint and can finish. So he's just expanded his game to become a complete guard, and that's why, you know, he's having an All-American season.
Stay here in the front row over here. Go ahead.
Aaron Cousins with Penn Live. Brice and Marcus, you can chime in too. Both Indiana and North Carolina have had success with players who've left early for the NBA draft, but both of these teams are have a little bit more older guys. What does that mean? Do you wish more players would stick around?
Well, I mean, it all depends on who you are. I mean, I just felt like I wasn't ready. I mean, I don't think I was a one-and-done type of player or a player that could have left early. So, I mean, I stuck around, and, I mean, it benefited me in the long run. So, I mean, it just depends on who you are as a person. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's your decision. But I decided that I needed to get better, and college was the best place for me to do it.
Marcus, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I think it does depend on the individual. Like you said, both teams have had talented guys that have been able to leave early. And this group, for both teams, has just had people stick around. But, you know, there'll probably be a wave in a couple of years where the talent gets concentrated with these two schools again, and you'll have guys that can make that jump. So it just kind of depends. But it's kind of cool to see really good players stick around, and then you have experienced, talented teams that end up playing each other in tournament like we are.
Okay, we have a couple here in the second row. Let's start in here. Yep.
Josh Newman, Asbury Park Press. For either player, Indiana-Carolina, that's a historically significant matchup. Has Coach Williams or any of the older Carolina guys told you what those matchups were like?
Start with Brice.
No. I mean, I really haven't heard anything about the rivalry or the matchups between the two schools, so can't really say much on it.
Marcus?
Yeah, we haven't really we haven't talked much about it as a group or, you know, had any specific words about the past matchups. But, you know about Michael Jordan playing his final game against Indiana in 1984 and stuff like that. And they've beaten us the last couple times we've matched up in the tournament, I think. So, I mean, I know stuff like that, but I don't think it pertains a whole lot to tomorrow's game.
Okay, stay in the second row, Adam.
Brice, here, Adam Zagoria from SMY. Just Thomas Bryant, he's only a freshman, but obviously had a big game against Kentucky. What have you seen from him on film, or did you watch that game, and what challenges does he present?
He's a very good scorer, and he does run the court very well. I mean, he does kind of look a little weird out there sometimes, but, I mean, he's a really good player. I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, just watching him on film, it's not the norm, but, I mean, he's a really good player. You just have to challenge him to his weaknesses and not let him get to extremes. Because, I mean, he's, like I say, he is a really good player. And he has the potential to probably leave this year if he so chooses to.
Let's go back fifth row. Just raise your hand real quick so we can see. Yep,
Greg
go ahead.
Logan of Newsday, also for Brice. In that same vein, just in general, what did you see from the front court that Indiana displayed against Kentucky, and the athleticism, the kind of athletic bodies they had, like Troy Williams and Anunoby, in addition to Thomas Bryant?
Well, with those guys in the game and their front line, it's kind of a 4-guard, 1 big lineup for them. I mean, they do have some good size with, like you said, OG Anunoby, and with Troy in there playing the 4. But at the same time, you got to remember those guys still have a guard-like mentality, and you have to be able to. Like for myself, I got to be able to step out on the court and be able to guard those guys. But on the other end, I have to be able to impose my will and be able to do what I need to do in the post.
Okay, any more questions for the North Carolina players? Okay, here in the front.
Have you guys heard anything about the matchup in '81 for the national championship here in Philadelphia between Indiana and North Carolina?
No.
I know Indiana won. I don't know what else we need to hear about that. It's pretty obvious to look up in the Smith Center and you see a 82 banner and a 93 banner. You don't see an 81 banner. So yeah, I know it was two of the best coaches of all time coaching against each other, and kind of that started the rivalry in the tournament and whatnot. But that was a long time ago.
We'll stay here in the front row. Go ahead.
Corey Smith, 24/7 Sports. Both of you were on the team in 2012 that played at Indiana. Can you talk about what you remember from that game?
That was a really good team. I mean, that team had a few first-round draft picks on it, and I mean, they were supposed to win the championship that year, weren't they? And I mean, like I said, that was a really good team. You had guys like Cody Zeller on the team. You had Victor Oladipo, and I mean, those guys are very successful right now in their careers in the NBA. So I mean, they were a very good team. And then for us, we were kind of just thrown in the fire. I mean, after the 2012 season when the guys made it to the Elite Eight, and then we're coming in, and you got to go to Indiana and play in Assembly Hall, and that's a very tough place to play. And I thought it was probably one of the worst places for us to play as a freshman. So I mean, it's weird.
Marcus?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of positives we can take from that game, obviously, but we got a different group, and that was a different group we were playing against. Just understanding, I guess, things that pertain to tomorrow, that they also like to run the ball, and they can score the ball, at the same clip that we can, and they could back then. So I think that's one thing we talked about is how when we played them up there, they ran the ball back at us, and not a lot of teams like to run with us. So that's something we'll look forward to tomorrow, is having a team that's not afraid to push the tempo, because I think they average about the same amount of points a game as we do, in the 80s. So that's probably the one takeaway, other than us losing by like 30 that we can have from that game.
Okay, any more questions for the players? Okay, thanks, fellas. Yeah, thank you. We'll have Coach Williams in a few minutes, okay? Okay, we have University of North Carolina head coach Roy Williams. Once again, just raise your hand. We'll come bring a microphone to you. Just give us your name, outlet, and your question. We will start way in the back with Michael, and then we'll go to row 4 here.
Thanks, Coach. Michael Luongo, AP Broadcast. You've been to this level so many times at different points of your career. Is it still special for you, and for what reasons?
There's no question it's extremely special, especially when you say you've been through this so many times. It sounds like I'm getting even older than I think I am. But each and every year you start out late September now, early October, big-time dreams and goals for your team, and you try to share them with them. You have short-term goals, you have long-range goals, and those dreams that you have sometimes become more reality the closer you get. And so I get excited about it. I love the NCAA tournament, the pageantry of it, the suspense. You know, when you're a really good team, and we've had some of those in the past, and you go home really early, you know, that's not as much fun. But the NBA, they get 3 out of 5, 5 out of 7. Generally speaking, the best team always wins, but that doesn't happen in our game, and that's okay, you know, because that's what makes it so exciting. And but no, I really do think for this time for me, this is my favorite time of the year, other than those first 3 or 4 weeks when you're just trying to put that team together. And then one of the other thrills is a day like today, we get to come and talk to the media for an hour and a half and only get 50 minutes practice. I mean, Jesus Christ, what else can you need?
We'll go to 4th row here at the end. Go ahead.
Thank you. Roy, it's Mark Bradley from the Atlanta Journal. Not to dwell on the other side of March, but it's been, 7 years since North Carolina's been to the Final Four. Most places, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
North Carolina, it's the second longest gap in like 50 years. Is that, given
Really?
that you're, yeah, I think so. Given that you're Carolina and given that you're #1 seed and your fans expect a lot,
Yeah.
Does the pressure ratchet up every step further in the tournament you take?
Not really for me, because, you know, I've been around, as you said, Mark, like I said, a long time, so I'm more used to that part of it. But you can't let other people's expectations and what their thoughts and plans are change the way you think. I put more pressure on me in any 1 minute than anybody else can put on me in a week. But for us, we try every year to start to do the best thing you possibly can. I remember the reason I said that, question your 50 years, I was trying to count up here, but I remember I was at Kansas, and all of a sudden in '91 we're in the Final Four. And Coach Smith said, man, it's been a long time, because the last time that I'd been to the Final Four was with him in '82. So we went from '82 to '91, and that was a long time for 2 old guys. I wasn't quite as old then, and my hair was black then, but so was yours. And what we have to do is we just have to do it every year and coach and do the best you can and not get too caught up in what other people are saying. Sometimes you have some breaks that really go your way, whether it's in recruiting or somebody getting hurt or not getting hurt, guys developing. But I can assure you that when we started the year, we weren't thinking about last year. And when I'm up here today, I'm not thinking about last year at all. We're trying to do what we can with this team.
We'll go 2 more in the back, and then we'll come to the front. So start with Dana in the back row.
Dana O'Neill with ESPN. Roy, because of the star power on your team, Joel might fly a little under the radar in terms of appreciation, but how critical has he been for you this season and especially in this game tomorrow?
He has been critical. Joel Berry's been, everybody could make a case for different people, but I'd have to say that he's been our most consistent. Got a hitch in my shoulder this morning. I would have to say that he's been our most consistent player all year long. The star power, Marcus or Brice, you know, they still had some things to prove themselves, but he had a freshman year where he was hurt, never did really get rolling, you know, growing muscle here, something else there. He worked his tail off in the off season, and I think he's seeing the fruits of that labor right now. But you look down, and it's been a pretty consistent go for him, and hopefully he'll keep that going for a long, long time.
Yep, 5th row. Raise your hand real quick. Okay, go ahead.
Roy, your team relies on the 3-ball less than any other team in the Sweet 16, but your offense is as efficient as it's been since the last time you won the title. Do you think not relying on the 3-ball is a better offensive strategy?
You know, I don't think you can say what is the best. It's the best for my team right now. I definitely thought it was the best. I think in '09 we had great balance. We made a lot of threes. We had Wayne Ellington, Ty Lawson, Danny Green, Tyler Hansbrook could make some of them, but we also had the big rascal inside who fouled out a bunch of people. I think Tyler Hansbrough made more free throws than anybody in the history of college basketball. So the balance is what I've always liked to have. We haven't been able to shoot it as effectively this year as I thought we would. You know, and after about 10 games, all the local guys said, boy, you're shooting so much better this year. And, you know, then they stopped asking that question. But for us, I do want balance. I think having balance is the best way. But the last game we played was one of the things that sort of solidifies what one of the biggest beliefs I have is at the end of the game, I hope that I'm playing against the other team and they don't have all their players on the court because of foul trouble. You don't get teams in foul trouble too much shooting 35 threes in a game. So we played Providence the other day, and Chris Dunn missed 9 minutes in the first half, and Bento fouled out at the end, so that gave us a better chance. In 2005, we won it, and Sean May fouled out Illinois' entire front line just about. And as I said, in 09, when we won it, Tyler fouled out just about everybody. So I lean towards starting inside first. But I do think that you got to have a great balance. But for me, inside first is best. If you look at teams that win national championship, I think there's more teams that have won national championships with an inside first outlook than there have been with teams that shoot 35 threes, but that's just my opinion.
All right, here in the third row, we got Ed. Yep, go ahead.
Roy, Ed Barkowitz, Daily News, Philadelphia. There's a lot of history in Philadelphia with the NCAA tournament, certainly 81. Mm-hmm. What is your recollection of that, and how unusual, can you describe how unusual that day must have been?
Well, you know, my recollection is not of much because I was about the 73rd coach on that staff. There were only 3 of us, but I was third, there's no question. And all the communication was going through Coach Smith and our athletic director, and as it should have. But what I remember is that it was just a normal day trying to get ready to play for a national championship, which is not a normal day, I understand that. But we were trying to get ready, and then all of a sudden the tragedy happened with President Reagan. And we're coming to the game acting like it's just a normal game. We had our pregame meal at the regular time we came over, but yet everybody knew in the back of our mind that, hey, we may not play this. You know, what's the right thing to do? And it was sort of out of our hands, which I was glad. I wanted some people that had greater access to the proper information making those choices. So I do remember us being outside in the hallway, outside the locker room, and all of a sudden, you know, it was 35 years ago, or how long it was either C.M. Newton or Dave Gavitt came and got Coach Smith, and he and Coach Knight, and they went and talked, and Coach came back and says, the president, it looks like it's going to be okay, and we're going to play. And after that moment, other than the moment of silence that I think we had before the game, there was not much about the president at that time. We were just also thankful that he was in good shape.
Yep, back in the fifth row, go ahead.
Greg Logan of Newsday. Roy, can you just describe how Marcus Paige has evolved over the course of this season to be playing as well as he is now?
Marcus is a young man who's multi-talented in every phase of his life. I mean, he does so many things on the basketball court. He's academic All-American, his best leader, one of the greatest true student athletes I've ever been around on the basketball court. His freshman year, he came in thinking he was going to back up Kendall Marshall and play with him a little bit, and probably going to get 15 minutes a game, and all of a sudden Kendall was the 13th pick by Phoenix, and so now I hand him the ball and he played 32 minutes a game. And it was a rude awakening for him, but yet he fought and gotten better and better as the season went along. Then as a sophomore, we had thought Reggie Bullock would be coming back, and then PJ, we lost him as well, and now Marcus has got to do so much, so now he's a big-time scorer, averaged 17 a game for us. And during that whole time period, he was probably our best defensive perimeter player, too. And last year, he played the whole year, and he was hurt. And then this year, he came in with such great expectations. He got off to a great start. Then he gets hurt, misses the first 6 games, and the ball just hadn't gone in the basket for him. But even in that time period when the ball hadn't gone in the basket, he's been fantastic defensively, still continued to be a great leader, and has really helped the team in so many ways. And his reputation, or better term is his respect that the other coaches have for him, has helped him. I mean, remember we play in Virginia Tech, and Marcus goes this way, and Justin Jackson starts going the other way, and both defenders go with Marcus, and we throw the ball to Justin Jackson, he lays it up. And so he does do so many different things for us, and I can't put a value on it just by looking at his points or his steals or his assists or anything, because he's the leader of the team.
Here in second row, Adam, and then Josh.
Hey, Coach, Adam Zagori from SNY. How you doing?
Good, Adam.
Just your thoughts on the new NBA draft rules. There's been a lot of talk about it, how it might help some of your players. And did you have any reaction to Coach Calipari saying he's going to put his whole team, even the walk-ons, into the draft?
I do think it's something that's going to help us. What I've always wanted is something that would really help the young men make a better decision. That's period, the end. And I mean, I'll surprise everybody in here. Since 2004 or whatever it was, North Carolina's had more guys leave early than anybody in our league. And everybody acts like that old Roy puts handcuffs on them and keeps them around. We've had more guys leave early than anybody in our league. I'm not against guys leaving early, but I'm really in favor of them getting the best information they can possibly get. And I think this will give them a better opportunity if we can get the NBA to be truthful with them, and if we can get the kids, the families, their circle to believe the NBA as opposed to the agents. And, you know, because all of us have had guys say, well, you're going to be a first-round choice. And that's not always true with the information they're getting. So I love that part of it. I've been involved just a little bit with some discussions with the NBA people, and I think that they have the same goal in mind as we do, is allow them to make proper decisions and allow the NBA to make proper decisions. About Cal, you know, Cal's funny. Cal's a buddy of mine, Jimmy at Christmas, but he's out in left field sometimes. And, get ready. He may say something else this afternoon. It's going to shock everybody, you know. But he's entitled to a great opinion, and I don't see that there's anything wrong with that. You know, people say, well, he only recruits a certain guys. Well, he recruits the same guys I do. He just gets them, you know, that kind of thing. But I haven't seen all the statements. I've had people say some things just like you did right there. But, I would really start worrying myself. I will really start getting worried if John applies for the draft himself. Okay, so as long as he doesn't do that, I'm okay.
Coach Brice said he was going to apply for the draft.
Mike was. I've seen both those guys play. They did. We're safe.
Stay in the second row, Josh.
Josh Newman, Asbury Park Press. Going back to the Indiana-Carolina thing, you know, obviously it's a historically significant matchup given 1981, given 1984. Is it at all important to you that your current players know the history and have a healthy respect for the history?
You know, maybe it is, but I don't know. I haven't shared with them any of those things. I mean, my guys, they don't, 10 years ago, my guys thought Michael Jordan invented the game. Now they don't even know who Michael Jordan is. You know, if it went for the Haynes commercials, and I'm going to call him and leave him a message, tell him I said that today. But kids are in today's times. If I were to talk to them about 81 and 84, guys, I think I may have a coach. No, I'll start to say I have a coach that wasn't even born then. You know, I don't know that my guys understand that, and it's. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not talking about that to them. I'm talking about this team, this year, how they've played, how they've gotten better, how they need to get better. But, the historical significance of game comes more for us, more for you guys, and more for our readers. It doesn't come a lot for the 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Now, some kids are more serious about it than others, but, if I tell them I had black hair in 1981, they think it's when the rocks cooled. So I don't deal with that very much. And it could be wrong, but that's the way I'm dealing with it.
We'll go way in the back at the end there. Yep, go ahead.
Hey, Roy, Mark Armstrong, ABC 11. We were asking players and coaches about superstitions, and they all pointed at you as the guy in that department. Can you shine any light on some of the things you need to do on game day or otherwise?
You know, it's vastly overrated, okay, but if it's okay, I'm going to try to do everything I can, what I'm responsible for. You know, there's a chance that I might wear the same suit that I wore against the team that when we beat them. If they beat us, I've put it out for the mailman to see if he can give it to somebody. I do have a routine that I go through a lot. But, guys, if you wanted all my superstitions, hell, I ain't even going to get to go to practice, so I've got a few of them. But I have yet to see any of those superstitions win a game, but it certainly makes me pass the time and make me feel like I'm doing the best I can do.
Here in the front with Zach.
Zach Drapkin, Vavel.com. Marcus touched on this a little bit earlier. What's your plan for matchups in the defensive backcourt and guarding Yogi Ferrell?
I haven't talked about it yet. We'll give them the matchups when I write the names up in the locker room for the game. You know, we're coaching, so everybody on the perimeter knows they're going to have to guard Yogi, know they're going to have to guard Troy. Find out as much as you can about those guys, but we'll make the matchups in the locker room before the game.
We'll go back to Michael.
I was going to ask, what's the key change or challenge against them, either defending them or against what you have to do against them offensively when you look at Indiana?
Well, a little bit of both, which sounds is good for their team, you know, because Tom's done a great job. They're effective both ends of the court. You have to cover the three-point shot. They make 9.8 per game. I think we make less than 5. We've got to get out and try to cut their percentage down. They're going to shoot a lot of threes. Yogi gives them so much threat with his penetration and pitching that they're going to get some threes. Troy attacks the basket as well. Almost everybody on their team shoots three. I mean, Thomas Bryant, I think, shot 14 of them himself. So we have to do that. So we're worried about their offense. But defensively, we know they do a good job of walling the guy inside. They trap when they want to. They jam when they want to. So it's a two-pronged thing. But you think about it this way. If you get to the Sweet 16, the other team's pretty doggone good. So you can't just say, guys, if we do this, they can't beat us. That doesn't happen at this level. So we've got to try to play a complete game. We need to get some of our shots to fall in and need to hopefully get them to shoot a less percentage than they normally do.
We'll do last question over here. Go ahead, first row.
Aaron Cousins with Penn Live. Roy, you were just talking about how you had a lot of players leave early, more players than anybody in the ACC leave early. What does it mean to you that you have a team with some veterans, and do you think maybe it's good for the sport that both you and Indiana have some seniors?
Well, I can't speak for Tom's guys, but, you know, there's nobody beating the door down for our guys to go to the NBA draft. I mean, you know, it's if you want to go to the prom, somebody else has got to want to go with you. And our guys are very good basketball players who I think have a chance to play basketball for a living. But last year there was nobody on my team that the NBA or the evaluation people say we're going to be a lottery pick, you know. So good news and bad news, you know, some coaches, they don't like it when all their guys come back. You know, I like it. Mine came back this year because I like coaching them. They're good kids. And someone like Brice, I think, has gotten better and better and better. Everybody would take talent. I mean, it's like I said, the question down here, I recruit the same guys Cal recruits, you know, and Mike, and those guys have gotten more of the one and dones the last 2 or 3 years. I recruit those same guys. I would like a mix of a couple of guys that are the best players. I don't care who you are, how ugly you are, whatever, you're the best player. But then I'd like some of those guys that stay around that I can even develop a better relationship with. But for us, everybody wants talent. Experience would be second. But I've said this, you know what you really want is you really want experienced talent. In 2009, we had Tyler Hansbrough, Wayne Ellington, Ty Lawson, and Danny Green. Those guys came back. All of those guys could have left. Now, that was a lot of fun that time.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.